It's going in the upper teens, low 20s for this race. I thought the pin was fairly favored. I was a little surprised that almost nobody was down here. But I recognize we're a little late here to get to the line. We have 10 seconds to go before the gun goes off. We're a little late here. Brent and I, that's Brent 6261, Brent Barbahan, he's got a bunch of national championships underneath his belt. I guess the two of us were the only people that thought the pin was favored. It ends up being the right-hand side of the course was favored, so that's part of the reason. We have a mini reef in the main here, and you can see it doesn't look great on starboard. It looks a lot better on port. Drop the halyard down some and crank that Cunningham on so far that the Cunningham grommet is down around the bottom of the boom. So that it lowers the sail plan a little bit, gives you a little bit better control when we're a little underweight for this breeze. We're 320 total between the two of us, so when it's blowing this hard, it's really hard for us to keep the boat flat. We'll fast forward through a lot of this stuff because we're way out here on the left side of the course by ourselves. But I'll slow it down for the tacks because I'm really curious to see how bad or good some of the tacks are. And I think this is if you look at the speed graph up at top, this is not a very good one. Yeah, dropped all the way down to 3.1 there. And so we're pretty far on the left side of the course, and these are a lot of boats that still have not tacked yet from the start. I'm really glad 6177 tacked there. We were going to have a problem with him if he hadn't tacked. The waves do seem a little bit better on this tack, given that, just a little bit different. And that the reef in the main looks a lot better on this tack. You can kind of see it there, how it's pulled down to the side. I know we're fast forwarding here, but as soon as we stop, you can see it looks a lot better. The luff looks clean, and the tack looks clean up at the mast. And you see we're, upper fives, low sixes for our boat speed. Okay, see that tack? It looks a lot better on this tack, the tack of the main. All right, let's check out this tack. How slow do we get? A little bit better, right? 4.4, 4.5, something like that. So that's Brent crossing us. That's who we started with on the starting line. He hasn't really gotten that far away from us, and he's 3 up. So I'm to be honest, I'm kind of happy we're this close to him still, given we're clearly not on the correct side of the course. Right back here. A little bit of a left phase here, and you can see all these boats that went out to the right are a decent ways in front of us. That last tack, just to go back to it, it was not quite as good, down to 4.2. So we got a lot of boats in front of us here. We're almost to the port tack lay or starboard tack lay line here. You can see the first boat going around the offset mark right now. I think that's Ames. We're coming in here. I counted these masts in front of us. We're coming in 14th to the Windward Mark, so that's a little disappointing to be that deep in the field for us. But the good thing is things change, and the wind was just windy enough for us to plane going downwind, and I think several other boats weren't able to. So we're able to make a little bit of this up going downwind. And so we're sailing a little bit in bad air here, and I remember Brian Hayes one time talking about practicing sailing in bad air, and I'm actually thinking about him saying that as I'm going down this, sailing in bad air, but it's windy enough to where the wind repairs pretty fast. And we got a nice little righty here at the end, so we're able to make the mark. Trying to figure out what to do here. Thank goodness Joel reminded me to get the halyard up. So we're shaking out the mini reef essentially. And I did notice several boats had jibed, so I was like, okay, let's just jibe. Yeah, several boats in front of us are on port jibe, so my sheets are opposite, right? The green is already in the hook, which is not good. But that happens when you end up jibe setting because you're set up for a bear away. I noticed that the boat route that rounded right behind me, 5454 Robert Cummings, he was going pretty hot behind me, so we had to head up a decent amount just to protect our breeze, right? I didn't want him rolling over the top of us. Take a little bit of board here. I got a little bit up on the offset leg, but not enough yet. So I'm flying it, and I asked him to lower the main a little bit because it's a little tight right there. I see a vertical wrinkle next to the mast, so I lowered it a little bit. Plus, I wanted to be able to put a lot of Cunningham on the next time going upwind. So I just highlighted this yellow spinnaker. Put a little call out there on the right hand side, and then the pink and black as well. Those guys are pretty far away from us right now, but things are about to change. So here we go. I think anytime you're going over 9, you're planing in this boat. And even in the upper 8s, I think we're planing. Yeah, we're planing here, and it's just barely 9. You could just barely see the rollers on my... And Joel just says you got a lot of board in the water still, so it's only like maybe a third of the way up. Which is a little dangerous, frankly. You could trip over the board if it's too far down. This is a lot of fun here going this fast, but a little scary at the same time. There I go. I pulled the last handful of board up. Now it's 3/4 of the way up, probably. And I'm surprised we're going even faster. This is the fastest we go in the regatta. 13.9 was our max. Pulls a little bit farther forward than it probably should be, but it allows me to go pretty hot. I don't want to go up. Right, we're sailing downwind, but it gives me a little more, what do I want to say? Flexibility if it's a little farther forward. We're down to 10. It feels like it's slow, but we're still planing here. You know, the bow's still really high. I went low because I couldn't get it to heel. Couldn't get it to heel correctly. Yabba dabba doo, here we go again. 1.3 upwind leg. So it was about a 50-minute race. So I fast forwarded through a lot of the upwind because it gets kind of boring. I don't have my 360 camera, unfortunately. I had forgotten it at the house where we were staying, and all I had was my regular camera, my regular GoPro. It's really nice getting the telemetry on here and knowing what your speeds are and your heel angle. The compass is a little squirrely. It doesn't always tell you. It freezes a lot. So we just said left turn, so our plan is to make a left turn at the gate. Right? Because of all these righties, we're on port so long, I thought we should make a left turn. But things change. It's really wavy on this jibe. It's a pretty fast jibe. I think the slowest we got was like 7.5. We're still planing here. It's just crazy watching this. Here we go again. We're back up in 11 miles an hour, 12 miles an hour. It's right after a jibe. And this jibe is definitely bumpier, man. The boat is just bucket bronco. You can see some boats way downwind of us there. But I highlighted a couple of spinnakers earlier. I highlighted that yellow spinnaker and then the pink and black. And we'll just take a look. A lot closer to that yellow spinnaker. We get even closer. Pink and black. He was way out too. We made up a lot of ground, planning as much as we did, and that's a little caption of what it looked like. It's way zoomed in, so it's super blurry. What it looked like when we first rounded. I'm just checking here. We're starving, so people have to get out of our way. Thank goodness. That's 6288. They've got Roger Fell on board that boat. Really nice meeting him there at Rush Creek. Rush Creek is sponsoring this regatta. I wanted to make the left-hand turn, so I'm thinking about jibing here. I bailed out because I realized we were going to be outside on a pinwheel. And it's just so windy, so wavy, I didn't want to. I wanted it around by myself, nice and clean. Unfortunately, that doesn't actually happen. Sailing really deep here, pulls way back. Hitting waves, going slow. Boat speed's a little down here. It's going to get even worse, sailing even deeper. My head's in the boat, cleaning lines up. I'm thinking I can't make the mark here, so I might have to do a quick jibe. And I bailed out. Just take it down. Be conservative. That's the yellow spinnaker that was way out in front of us. Now, I realize he's taking his kite down pretty late. It's pretty windy. Joel gets the kite down on the windward side. Easier, just too windy to try to do it to Leeward. He basically just puts it underneath the deck. Nice wide turn for us. I don't think 5804 had room in there, but I wasn't going to argue. It was far enough in front. And then we have a really nice rounding here. His main sheet got a little tangled up into itself. You can see it there, up in the little caption there. Yeah, that's happened to me before, and it's really hard to trim the main in when that happens. So that was part of this problem. But I think the biggest thing is you got to be conservative and get that kite down early. Plus, his crew was taking the kite down on the leeward side, which is really hard, which kept his crew on the leeward side for longer, which is also hard. So I'm glad we took it down on the starboard side of the boat, kept our crew weight in the right position, had a pretty nice rounding there. We didn't put the mini reef back in because I didn't feel like it was quite as windy as it was at the start. But I don't have the halyard cranked on a lot, so I was able to put a decent amount of Cunningham on. So you can see the Cunningham grommets just above the boom there. And there's just two boats in front of us. The first boat I think is already tacked. There goes the second boat tacking. So if you round a gate and you have to tack right away, then you round to the correct side. If you round a gate and you're lifted, you don't want to tack right away, then you round to the wrong gate usually. If you just think about the geometry of that for a second, it'll make more sense. But ideally you want to go through the gate, and then whatever gate you go through, ideally you want to have to tack right away. So we did. We went a little ways there, mainly to stay away from any spinnakers that are still coming down. But we rounded the Windward Mark in 14th. We rounded that gate. There was two boats in front of us that you could see, rounded right with that one guy, 04. And then there's at least two boats on the other side. So I think we're in about 5th place here, going back upwind. But we also we rounded the correct gate, the more upwind side. And we're in a bit of a left phase now. In the first upwind leg, it was big time right phase. You had to get out right. So we're marching out to the right side of the course just because it was so favored the first time. You can see some other boats that rounded the other gate coming back into view. 6369 was pretty far ahead of us. Or he was one of the ones that I would have had to round outside at the gate. Go ahead and duck him here because we feel like there's only one more tack until we get to the ley line. And I figured I'd have starboard advantage the next time we met, provided I have a good tack and I don't slow down too much. And you can see the graph. I don't have a very good tack coming up. We get a really nice righty here to make this mark. I think we tacked a little shy originally. Not planning to make it. So we yelled starboard at 6369. You can hear them tack. That's the offset mark you can see way ahead of us. And the first place boat, David Ames, going around he's up there somewhere. I don't see him quite yet. There he goes. Yeah, he's going around the Windward Mark. Big righty, big puff. Nice big ease on the main, hiking hard. And now we're making it easy. And so what we didn't see here is I've got 6379 Tyler Andrews right on my windward hip. And I've got 6369 right on my leeward side as well. This is such a big righty now that all three of us are making it. We're about out of both of them though, so it's kind of nice. And I think what happens is myself and 6379, who's on my windward hip, we end up rolling over the top of Richard in 6369. So, but this is like, we're a little cracked off, and man, the speed is just crazy right here coming into this Windward Mark. We're normally doing upper 5s, low 6s. Now we're doing 7s because we cracked off a little bit. So that tells you something about cracking the jib and going fast on the upwind leg. How much extra boat speed you can manage. Get the vang off a little bit here. I want to break the boom in this big breeze. Now we have the issue of the spinnaker being on the wrong side. I just said we're going to have to go dead down. Tyler's right on my windward hip. I know we can't see him because I don't have the 360, but I figured he's going to roll me. Nothing I can do about that because I got the spinnaker on the wrong side. We launch it. I realize. Then I remembered. I remembered how smooth the water was on the first downwind leg and how we were able to plane so much. I'm like, hey, let's just try to do the same thing again. Look at Ames way out there in that green teal colored chute. But that Windward Mark we ended up getting to in second place. So rounded the correct gate mark, had a good upwind leg, some tactical. Did some things right tactically, got that big righty at the end there to help us. And so remembering that big righty, I said, we should be on port, shouldn't we?
Maybe not.
I'm evaluating a little bit here. I feel like we're not sailing the correct drive.
I don't know if it's going to do this, but we're going to
He asked me that like 3 times before I finally said yes. Let's get some alcohol off. It was cranked on pretty good. I have to take off here. You can look at that speed graph and know. This is so fun and so scary at the same time. I had to turn a lot here to get a hot angle to plane. There's a lot of water in the boat. I can't believe I'm bailing. I'm like, hey, we can't plane because there's so much water in the boat. I don't know if that's probably not true. There's not that much in there.
Not me if I should come down. You are turning the boat already, dude. Here we go.
13.2, that's our max speed for this downwind leg. My board is a long way down still. I don't see the rollers. I have to steer it upwind sometimes. The spinnaker's pulling the bow downwind. I gotta really trim the main a lot to keep it from backwinding. Did I just put the board up some? Yeah, I see the rollers now. It's so wavy. I'm the most impressed. Diane camps out there with her dog. 3 people and it's this windy. That's just nuts.
I know, I'm loving it.
So I've just realized that, you know, Tyler was going to roll us basically at that offset. I know he couldn't see it, but he did. And but we've been going so fast here for so long that we were able to extend really nice on him. We're both on this jibe, I believe.
Here we go, turn it down.
We've put a decent bit of distance on him by this point. And we're not, I mean, we're lighter than those guys for sure. We're not that much lighter. I mean, they're probably 50 pounds more than us. Crew weight wise.
No, leave it in. No, put the beam in. Got it.
This big breeze like this, like to have both sheets in the guy hooks. So he said choke it down, but you have a little bit more control. I mean, we jibed through that. What was our slowest? 7.5 or something was our slowest speed. And we're moving. I'm trying to trim the spinnaker. Gotta get that windward sheet off the jib. And we just saw a peak of the teal spinnaker from David Ames, who was a long way in front of us initially. He's still a decent amount in front of us. We have not made up a little bit on him, but not a ton. I told Joel no planing probably here from here on, because we had to sail pretty deep. Didn't want to have to jibe again. This jibing's just risky in this high breeze. We got a guy going forward, you know.
Wave and all of that discombobulation.
So there's Dave Ames in front of me. He's still a good ways in front of us. Just the waves on this jibe are so rough. Look at this rocking and rolling.
Can't fucking make it right now.
Talking about, are we in the finish line? Are we not in the finish line? At one point, I was pointing at the pin end, and then I was pointing at the boat end.
About taking the kite down, dude. Tyler's having a really hard time driving.
Looking behind me at Tyler having a hard time jibing. If he's having a hard time, we're going to have a hard time. I figured we had a decent lead on him at this point. We're in second place. We had a decent lead on him. And like, wow, we should just take the spinnaker down and be conservative.
No. We got it.
I'm going back and forth between taking it down and jiving.
Yeah, go put it in the hook. Take it from me. Yep, got it. Put the hook. No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. So now I'm ready.
See the race can be going right there. So we're just about at the end. Thanks for watching. Ended up second this race. This was our best race of the Nationals.